Welcome, everyone. This is our second webinar in our in-house webinar series. Today's webinar, When Kids Can't Come to Class, will be presented by Dee Hall, who is our Northern Region Office Regional Faith Formation Associate. She is also the Director of Faith Formation at St. Mary's in Oswego. As we get started, though, let me just go through a few items. On your computer, you should see a panel with participants and chat options. In the participants area, if you drop the list down there, you will see who all is here today. And there also is the option for video and microphone. I will be muting all participants from the microphone until later in our presentation when we actually will open up the floor to questions, and I will open each person's microphone when you raise your hand. You will see in that participants area a place to raise your hand. I will also ask you to keep your video turned off. There is no need to have that, although I would love to see everyone who is here. It would dramatically affect the bandwidth for our presentation through WebEx. So if you could please not turn your video on. The chat section, if you open up the chat area, this is where, if you keep this open during the presentation, you can share your questions, thoughts, and other ideas. And any questions or things that might come up, I will be monitoring those, and I will share those with Dee as we can. The password that you used when you first entered our webinar was pray. And so I want to do that right now. We pray that our hearts are open to the Holy Spirit. We pray that our minds be open to the knowledge and wisdom that will be shared today. And we pray through the intercessions of Saint Isidore, the patron saint of the internet, that our technology will work today. I also want to direct everyone in the chat area. Let me make sure I have this still. I did put the link to the webinar survey. Excuse me. If you are keeping track of your level 2 hours, this is, you do have to keep track of that using the webinar survey form and keep that in your file. So I do have access to that in the chat box here for you to link to. With that, I am now going to turn it over to Dee Hall.
Well, thank you, Andrea.
Oh, wait, I got to actually turn you on. You're my...
Am I on? I'm on mute now. Yay! Before we get started, I would just like to give a big shout out of thanks to Andrea Slavin, our Faith Formation Tech Guru, the MacGyver of Catechesis. All she needs is a paperclip and some gum, and boom, you're using the web. I was originally going to compare her to the professor on Gilligan's Island, but she's so much more stunning, and times have changed a little bit, so I had to update it. And I guess that's why we're here, because times have changed and we do have to update. With that said, I would really like to introduce our St. Sebastian Club. This club came about because I personally became very frustrated hearing from families and catechists that we can't do this or we can't do that because they have practice, or we have families that have to do this. There's tournaments, swim meets, bake-offs, you name it. They had more reasons and more events. If I can just briefly go back in time for a bit, maybe you can recall the Tupperware ball. You would get them at a baby shower and the shapes would have to fit into the ball. Well, that's how they're learning today. We have to find ways to feed catechesis in certain modes and in certain methods that are going to help these families that are on the go. After continually searching my head, and trying to put together some type of, I don't know, an answer or resolution to the situation, I used a format called Basic Equipment. Now, the theme of this website is sports, because sports is a god in the country, in the city that I work at. In the basic equipment, I have prioritized the needs. I did a parish assessment, an evaluation tool, which your regional directors can help advise you on. I also listened to complaints, comments, and surveys. I then moved on, and trust me, I tend to hedge a little bit on surveys because sometimes people will tell you what you want to hear, or sometimes there's an underlying motive for something else, and you may get negative feedback on that as well. So I don't really like them, but anybody could use them. I also, after I prioritized our area, I decided on an area to focus on. Which weakness takes priority? And we'll visit that one on the next slide. The goal, a resolution to the situation, short or long term, preferably flexible. Again, we start out with a vision, but as always happens, we have to make adjustments. And then a zone, a certain audience, demographic, a program, or organization. What happened was I had gone to a John Roberto workshop in August of 2013, and he covered 5 areas of need for the parish population. Whoops, sorry about that. It's here. There we go. 5 areas of the parish population. Is your parish considerate of life cycle trends? Are we looking at parenting, employment, physical growth? Is your parish considering the life issues? Parents are busy. They're busy with sports teams, multitasking, economic challenges, friendships, 2+ jobs. It's very difficult for families to stay cohesive today. Is your parish considerate of milestones and transitions? Weddings, births, sacraments. There's a wonderful program out there on milestones. And if I'm not mistaken, Connie Armstrong will be doing an upcoming webinar on the milestone project in April. So stay tuned for more information on that. Is your parish considerate of the spiritual and religious needs? Are you having people that are searching, that are hungry, or that lack confidence? Is your parish also considerate of ethnic and cultural needs, global awareness, community affiliations, service opportunities? I mean, the world has expanded, our parish doors have opened, and we are getting so many different ethnicities. We need to be considerate of those. Once I was able to do a cross diagram of these areas, I was able to come up with a plan. Let me flip it here. And there it is there. An assessment or an evaluation. The biggest concern that I had come across was that sports events conflicted with faith formation gatherings and attendance. The goal was to create a format that would allow both to coexist, ultimately supporting each other. We joke about it back in the parish, but I will often tell the youth, Jesus skates too. Because when they're out on the ice, he is with them. He is listening to their concerns, their fears. He is helping to keep them calm. When they fall or they get hurt, the Lord is there. The objective, develop a tool or resource that families can use as a faith on the go supplement. They know that the Lord travels, but they need the resources to help remind them of that. And the zone, the families with youth who travel and cannot make regular faith formation classes. This eventually included youth with visitation issues and, believe it or not, chronic illnesses. I had a young lady who was in a sleep study and then eventually spent 3 weeks in the hospital undergoing treatments, and she was able to keep in touch with her classmates the catechist, and the parish community through the St. Sebastian website, which is what we will be getting to very shortly. Okay, I'm going to figure these buttons out. And we're going backwards, sorry. Thank you for your patience. Okay, the Elite Eight. Whatever you do, make sure you have a reliable proofreader, okay? Some of the worst words, and I am the biggest one for having issues with proofreading. So make sure you have someone who can oversee the site and just double check your spelling and make sure the words that you want are there. Form and from are two biggies. Number two, one size does not fit all, okay? This is one of my biggest pet peeves. From clothing to technology, each organism has its own individuality, so be attentive to the uniqueness. Number three, maintenance should be done on a regular basis, usually 2 months previous to the season coming up, and update any newsworthy moments. For example, if you have a youth in your program who gets Kiwanis Athlete of the Month, be sure to include that on your website. Please be sure you limit each page to 5 items and no more than 2 clicks, or you will lose people's attention. Number 5, have an option for open dialogue, but also be mindful to have a mediator. And when I say mediator, I'm not speaking of someone who will mediate a disagreement. I'm talking about someone who will facilitate the conversations online. We have to be very careful about the verbiage we use and other issues that come across. When designing a page with any references, be sure that they are accurate and verified. I recommend the Diocesan Guidelines and the USCCB. You will see that on St. Sebastian's website. Remember your audience and use age-appropriate language. The normal average reader, adult reader, reads at the grade level of 7th or 8th. So if you stay in that realm, you should be okay. And above all else, no photos without permission, ever. Photos need to have permission signed for youth and verbal from the adults. Let's see what else I've got here. The final 4. Yes, we've made it to the final 4, and then we get to the websites. Number 1, pray. From the beginning, God will show you the who, the how, and what. Number 2, proofread everything. Number 3, prepare for future development, changes, adjustments, technology, church calendar, cluster issues, whatever. Just leave enough room. I have found in my lifetime, if I leave a little bit of space, then if I'm going about it the wrong way, that gives the Holy Spirit room to move. And copyright. Be sure that you are not infringing on any copyright laws. For more information on this, you can go to the rcfaithquest.com site, or you can ask your regional faith formation associate. Now, I am hopefully going to quickly go to our website. I'm tired of looking at that gentleman with no clothes on. And there we go. Here we go. Welcome to our families. Now, this is what is called the landing page. It has contact information, upcoming parish events, group namesake and information, and related current events. If you will notice over here, there is a little Virtus symbol. If you click on this Virtus symbol, it will automatically take you to the Diocesan Guidelines for all Virtus issues and forms, paperwork, and what have you. It is highly recommended that if you do develop a website, that you include this on there. Our parish was audited last fall, and they really appreciated us having it there. So that's just a tip for those of you who are facing future audits. On the side, Runners on the Mark is just a little bit about the patron saint of athletes. And for those of you, Cheryl, who are curious about the arrows and who would really want them to be a saint, he died, he was martyred with arrows. And that's how he became the patron saint of athletes, because of his toughness, if you will. 5 faith-filled sport lessons. There's always hope. Ask the Cubs. Faith is perseverance. Everyone loves an underdog. Faith honors rituals and traditions. Don't wash those socks. Try to hold back on that if you have a teenager, though. Don't tell them that unless it's, really important. Number 4, practice matters. Excellence is worth pursuing. Miracles do happen. And always remember, your hole in one is coming. There is the Athlete's Prayer and family pages for Flom Gospel Weeklies, which is the program that we utilize in our parish. If the parents are done reading that and they want to go back to the parish program, or bulletin, they can just click that button and boom, they're there. What I have found, though, I will be very honest with you, is the fun that comes on after this page. The family fun for starters. As we had discussed earlier, try to keep your pages down to 5 options for clicking out. There we go. For example, there's video. I know I'm over by 1, but we'll deal with it. Timeless video of Jesus, the parable of the lost sheep. Videos are excellent if families are traveling to and from a game and they have their own personal DVD player or laptop that they can watch them on. Over here, I have a link to RC Faith Quest. Again, awesome opportunity to review what we have not only available for you to personally use, but for ideas to develop games, presentations, you name it. They've got it covered under RC Faith Quest. I Know My Prayers. This is a video I use with my kids, especially the ones who are going to be out for any type of length of time, and they've got First Communion or First Reconciliation coming up. Great video for them to watch. They talk to each other, and they go over it. This link is my personal addiction. It is Pinterest. It will take you to Pinterest, and you can learn a lot of different projects according to the liturgical year. One of the biggest things that I like us to remember, if I could give anybody a piece of knowledge, and that is that Christ played with the children, but he taught the adults. And that's what it's about. It's about reaching the youth where they're at, the ways that the Lord would. Now, up at the top, when the youth are out, there's really no way of validating if they're doing their work or paying attention, should we say. So what I've decided is we don't do homework. We do faith work. And above, what they do, I don't have a mouse, so please bear with me. I have a playbook, grades K through 6 playbook. If you go there, you will find some projects that the faith youth of grades K through 6 can. Andrea, this is not scrolling on me. I think it's frozen. Okay, that they can do. They can pick up their weekly gospel from use those. Oh, thank you. Oh, wonderful. There are so many fun things that they can do. We utilize Flom Gospel Weeklies. I am not trying to push the project. I'm just stating that it is an awesome program for them to take home and to participate or to use weekly. I also have a kit, and I believe Andrea Slavin has given you a link for that kit. Within the travel bag, there's travel trivia, there's a Bible, gospel weeklies, and a candle. Pack these goodies when you go on overnights. Set up a little prayer environment for the family and the youth. Or maybe the home team, or in the hotel, the team can get together with the youth. And they can get together and have the prayer moment. I'm sorry, I'm having computer issues here. Always remember to help the families make and take prayer time, whether you're traveling long road trips or you're just out for school vacation. Sports have timeouts for a reason. Give your family, help the families to take a timeout and ask for protection, fairness, and winning actions, both on and off the field. Again, we're giving them the tools and the resources. Part of that is grades 3 and 6. There's some faith work for them when they leave Mass this week. Ask Father what he's giving up for Lent. Or C, write a prayer of thankfulness for at least 5 blessings that they've been given. Grades 4 through 6, pick a video and write a paragraph to describe it. And parents can attach the homework on a connecting page, or they can just attach it to an email. This past fall, I have had quite a few opportunities with the high school play book. A young lady was out for dancing, and I'm doing it again. No, I'm not. There we go. What they are given is they're giving faith formation areas, Christology, scripture, liturgy, sacrament, social justice. Then videos on the other side to watch. Not long, maybe 4, 6, 8 minutes. Then they write a short 250 to 350, I'm upping it, 350 word essay on how they match today. What term, what video they picked and why, which faith formation term they used, it best fits, and how does it apply to their own life. And they use their own words, and they're being creative. Now, that project may take an hour. If you stop and think about how long it's going to take you to get them sat down, get their attention, get their resources out that they're going to use or utilize in class, you're not even going to get an hour's worth of attention out of them. Homework like this will. And it did get some good use this year. Lastly, on this site, I have a parent talk page, which is just for parents. And no, it's not adult only, but it is for adults. Pardon? Girls? Okay, sorry. There are things that the parents can use. Parents do not like to let their kids know that they're not sure or that they're not comfortable or they don't have an answer. And sometimes parents just need their quiet time. We've all shut ourselves in the bathroom a couple of times. Great options provided there for them. And I also have included a verification form, which opens up communications between myself and the coaches, which is something, if I really need the kids there and they have a mandatory practice, I've developed a rapport with them. It also validates a youth situation so that it isn't chronically abused. And let's see here, just as I'm getting ready, I would like to take you all back to my homepage and share with you that it doesn't necessarily have to be the St. Sebastian. It can be any theme, model, role model that reaches the broadest audience that you are dealing with. With that said, we are going to go to St. Mary's Faith Formation, and there we are. This link is directly linked with our parish website. You go to our website, you will see Faith Formation in the scroll down menu. You click on there, and it brings you to this page, your landing page. Again, it has the rudimentaries, it has the contact information, the Virtus, again, something you really need to consider doing. You should have it on your website if you have a website. what we offer at St. Mary's in the way of faith formation opportunities. Pardon me. Let's see here. Okay, that's the, sorry. I'm going back. There, that was nice of him to join us today, I thought. There we go. I have included a schedule, the calendar for the year. We've killed millions and millions of trees in the honor of faith formation calendars. You put it online, the parents will have it. And you update it routinely if there are any changes or as the month passes. I've had parents come in, well, you didn't give me a schedule. I've had parents come in, well, I need a schedule. Just go to our online website, it's there. And what's also useful is our secretary will go to it so that she knows when she's doing up the bulletin, what's up and coming. I made it myself. I'm sorry, Andrea asked me about, no, what I did with this schedule is I just did a basic Word, just a basic Word or publisher paper, designed it myself, then I uploaded it into my computer, and then when I went to Weebly, which is a wonderful program, I was able to select it from Weebly and download it. So it's all set. What I also liked about this is down here, we have a mass and class, a gentle reminder. They go to mass and then they go to class. But above that is the confirmation date. Again, we have to be adjustable and flexible. Confirmation date, we may not know at the beginning of the year, school year. So by referring the parents back to our calendar, I'm trying to think of the word. It just supports them going back to it. Okay, then we have confirmation. This was a foot washing at our parish. There's a couple of confirmation videos. And then the ultimate, the confirmation dress code. Usually it's about, Usually it's a litany, and somebody will always come up to you afterwards and say, well, you didn't tell me my skirt had to be a little bit lower, or you didn't tell me I couldn't wear jeans. There it is, right online for the teens. They go right to the site, and boom, everything's there. What we would like, what we prefer that they adhere to. If, and my parents know this, if there's a financial funding about adhering to these guidelines, it's all confidential. They let us know. We will help. We will help take care of any type of financial need they may have with regards to acquiring the sacrament. I'd like to recommend here Busted Halo. Awesome opportunity to run a quick video in 2 minutes and learn about something. And there's USCCB. Oh, I've got to get used to these arrows. I'm sorry, people. First Communion. Boom. Parents want to understand, what is Eucharist? Oftentimes they're embarrassed by it. Give them a little bit of fodder. Give them some resource material to look over and to read. I mean, they could be reading that while they're waiting for Tommy to get out of the locker room and get out to the car. Down at the bottom, we have the guidelines for the First Eucharist and the expectations for the youth, the expectations for the parents, and other considerations. Family diversity is a major issue, okay? And communion attire. And lastly, we talk about the gift of Jesus in the Eucharist. So we revert them all the way back up to the top and the importance, of what the Eucharist really is. Another sacrament is the first reconciliation. Again, in the name of all the trees we've hacked, I've cut that out. We go online. We have got the whole Let's Go to Confession set up right there in front of you. All the words in blue are what they're expected to know, and the parents have them in front of them to help them learn them. And yes, it does work. Below, the typical prayers for penance, again, right there in blue, parents can help the kids can help the parents. And they know what to anticipate. They're not going in blindly. I did have a mother this year who was concerned, didn't know what the process would be like. And I had told them at numerous meetings, but she was able to read this and digest it, and she was relieved. Family tools. Again, there's a reference to St. Sebastian. There is the USCCB Bible, daily readings, approved versions, which, by the way, I took the guidelines for our sacraments from the USCCB itself. That way, in case you have any questions, you're covered. That's the family Bible that I would prefer our families use, but I'm not hard on it. It's just that it's wonderful in the sense it has a complete segment where there's family questions at the end that they can talk about and activities that they can talk about. And there's the Bible Gateway icon. If you prefer to use a different Bible, just click on that. You're set to go. In my parish, I don't do much with RCIA, but we do have an RCIA page and definitions. On this page, we have requests. If you're a parent and you have questions, last year I had a mother who wanted to know about exorcisms and why I taught such a horrible thing. I was able to pull from the guidelines and pull my resources together, explain them to her, and she was able to comprehend that it isn't a spin your head 360 degrees and blow green cookies everywhere. It was completely not that. And that she was really amazed. She said, "Thank you for taking the Hollywood out of exorcisms." And we have photos of First Communion. Yes, the parents have the waiver. Oh, I'm so glad that came out. Parents have the waiver. Our Father John Hogan, gets very animated when he does this. Wonderful. All the youth on the altar. And there's a picture of the projects that they do. They make their own banners, and I put them together to make one big one. I believe we're running short, maybe, Andrea? Oh. Are we running short on time?
So you're doing fine. It is 3:34, so maybe if you want to just go, if there's any questions out there, we could probably take some questions. Was there anything else in the Sebastian Club that you wanted to show us?
I'm just previewing it now. It is, I'm getting reverb, I'm sorry. I did have a little bit of a question and answer to help the parents get a feel for using and integrating the web with their faith. It is very difficult, and I myself struggle with this. Faith to me has always been a face-to-face, one-to-one. So having to go ahead a couple generations and learn to implement technology, because that's how they speak. I'm sure parents are there also. So if you can include something like that on your website, it's a good suggestion. Other than that, I think I've covered just about everything, and I hope I'm ready for some questions. I don't know.
Okay, Dee, I did put you on mute here so that we don't get that feedback. Dee and I are in the same room right now, so so I kind of have to mute one another so we don't get too much feedback. So anyway, we are ready to take some questions from our participants. If you open up your participants panel, you will find a place where you can raise your hand, and I can unmute your microphone, and you can speak directly to Dee with your question. This was a great job, Dee. We thank you so much for sharing this information. And I do want to just say that Dee is part of a team working with me doing a Verizon Mobile Learning Academy through Johns Hopkins University and the ISTE, which is the International Society for Technology in Education. And I'm sure that as she goes through this, there's going to be even more ideas and more tweaking of the program. She's shaking her head, yes, yes, yes. We are learning quite a bit in this. Andrea Schaefer has a group at her office, and her hand is up, so I'm going to unmute Andrea.
Hi, everybody.
Andrea.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but yes, go ahead.
Okay. Can Dee talk a little bit more about the verification form, why she has it and what it's used for?
Okay. Dee, did you hear that? I'm going to unmute you.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Yes, a verification form. Basically, I use it for a multitude of things if I feel it's needed per se. What it does is it helps to build the relationship between the coaches or the other clubs that are taking the youth away from our regular scheduled classroom time. Now, our hockey team meets on Sunday, and we have tournaments during, Martin Luther King week, okay? So I found by giving this form to my athletes, my youth, and they complete it, I have all the information on the coach. I have the email. I have the phone number, and I can get a hold of them. The coach signs it so that they are aware that Tommy Smith is a member of St. Mary's. And if Tommy Smith needs to attend class one day, he's not pulling his leg, he's being honest, and he is a member of St. Mary's. Conversely, if little Susie seems to have, hypothetically, football all year long, even I know football doesn't run all year. So by getting a form like that completed, it helps to cut back on the abuses, especially if she is saying, well, I have football this weekend. I have football this weekend. I did have a young lady who had dance for a whole year last year. And then she started out in the fall, and she had dance all fall, which was fine. Faith should travel with them. That's what this program is about. But what she also admitted was that she ditched all last year. Her mother would drop her off, and she would come in for attendance, or she would say so-and-so would fill in for her. So, she had opportunities to ditch. We do not need to be opening up attendance issues. There's a lot of legal issues that go along with that. So by having a form like this, we know who, we can follow up, and we can build our rapport. Does that make sense?
That's great, Dee. I really like that verification form. Any other questions out there? Please raise your hand. Okay, Kathy Cornu, I'm going to put you on. Go ahead, Kathy.
Dee, first of all, thank you. What an outstanding, wonderfully developed website. The whole thing was just excellent. How many students have used this in the past year?
Well, this year, I've got to say, this year I have had maybe 3. Okay. Last year I had 8. We're very blessed that we have Mass and class together. Uh-huh. When the students go to Mass, there's either class before it or class after it. So that really fits into the family schedule.
Good. Good, and I like the way you made sure it's not only for athletes, but as you talked about the student who had a chronic illness, or students who might be visiting the other parent, the non-custodial parent on the weekend, can also take advantage of this.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, that's another one that has used it, is a visitation. A father had moved to Canada. And because we used the Gospel Weeklies, the mom could come in, pick up the Gospel Weekly. She had the travel kit, and on the way to Canada to drop or meet the father, they would work on it together.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I on?
You're on, girlfriend.
Okay, now. We have a question here. You're using the Gospel Weeklies. They only go up to 8th grade. Is that correct?
Yes.
What do you do when the child enters the high school programming? Do they use your high school page, or are there other things you supplement with that age?
They use the high school page.
Yeah. Okay. That was our question. We had another kind of question, but I think you may have already addressed it, and that's, is there a limit to the amount of time that you're going to allow them to be essentially be absent from class, or do you just kind of go with the flow and whatever they need you supply?
Generally, if you know, we did, all right. Another reason for this website coming about was because we had a building taken down last year that was directly linked to our building, and it was causing allergy issues for the youth. In those type of situations, I try to accommodate as best as possible. But my overall golden thumb is more than 2 classes in a row, and you start turning in the homework.
Okay, thank you. I am going to go to the Eastern Region office where Cheryl is. And Cheryl, do you have a question?
I think she.
Hi, everyone. It's Dick Vetter with Cheryl. I'm the person with a question.
Hi, Dick.
Hi. When you answered part of it already, but when someone has the need to use this as an alternative to participating in part of class or program, do they come to you and sort of apply to use this alternative? And you answered the how long before you intervene.
Oh, okay, 2-pointer. Actually,
okay, hold on 1 second. We're hearing that we cannot hear Dick. Can you repeat that and just speak a little louder, Dick?
Where is the microphone?
I don't know. Just talk to Dick.
Okay. Well, I hear you like I was sitting right next to you, but can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the laptop microphone is. And neither is Cheryl. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my question was, when someone finds themselves in a situation to need this alternative, do they apply to you with a form or just make contact with you and tell you they're going to miss class for a couple of weeks? And is there some registration process to use this alternative, number one? And then how do you know they've done it? Is it the essay you spoke about?
Yes, there's the essay that they turn in. That way I know that they've done the project. And again, you are to update your website every 2 to 3 months. So, you know, it's nice to have it, but just don't dump 5 videos on there and think they're going to take you through the year. To answer the first part of your question, generally the moms or the dads will come up to me and say, you know, we're really having a tough time with meeting the schedule. So-and-so's got this coming up. Somebody's got that coming up. And that's when I tell them about the Sebastian Club. Last year, we had a formalized meeting, and I do have 1 to 2 meetings a year, one in the fall and one in the spring, just to kick things off with the regular athletic team parents. And then I slowly spread the word as options with the other parents as the need is deemed. Does that help?
Yeah, somewhat.
There is no actual application.
So it's just through those parent meetings and parents contacting you that this resource is made available to them.
Yes.
So this doesn't become a substitute program.
Never.
It becomes a resource when they have to miss a limited number of sessions.
You brought up a very good point. And I've always said this, and it was on my first page, and I didn't even pick it out.
Well, thank you. That Kathy Cornu taught me well.
Aha! Now we're getting somewhere. This is a supplement only. Okay, just like vitamins, they are not it's not a replacement for the real nutrients, which is the classroom or the youth gathering or the youth setting. This is only to supplement for the times when they're going to have to miss.
I think this is why the validation form is so important as well. Correct, Dee?
Yes, definitely. Having that validation form there, if you're new to in fact, this happened last year. A family moved in. The grandparent was helping the grandson go to hockey. The mother was taking care of the sick daughter. So I was able to get in touch with the coach if I needed information to get to him, or if I wanted to know when a tournament is coming up. It's really important you know when these tournaments are coming up or when they're going to be out of town on a travel team. Not just because you want to keep track of the youth, but for your own knowledge so that you can encourage the youth, you can incorporate more of what they're doing, and you can go. Just basically go to the game, go to the tournament, and show your support.
Okay, thank you. I think I have another question from Mrs. Cornu. Go ahead, Kathy. No?
Sorry.
You can put your hand down. What about is there another question in the Eastern region?
Says the girl has
Eastern region, did you have another question?
Oh.
Okay. You guys can put your hand down. All right.
Could I just say one quick thing? I would like to say that we do not charge at our parish to become a member of the Sebastian Club. We call it the Sebastian Club for numerous reasons. People equate well with athletes. But if you were in school when I was, there was the Banana Split Club. And moms and dads being divorced was supposed to be scandalous. Or if you're sick with a chronic disease and you don't want people to know about it, you use the Sebastian Club as an umbrella, and you can feel very much a part of who they are. So I do not charge extra to be a part of this group. But this group would not be possible if it wasn't for the McDivitt grant. This group started because we were able to procure the fundings through the McDivitt grant and be able to pass it on down the line. Now, eventually, there will come a point when our resources will be used up and we may have to start charging. But if that's the case, and depending on what the reasoning is, I mean, if it's for hockey and you can afford a $150 glove, $25 to be a member of our club shouldn't be that much. But if it's because your child is sick, I know for experience that meds can be very expensive. Our parish is not going to charge you. That's not what it's about. So as far as that goes, I hope that answered another question.
Okay, I have a question from Marge Babcock. Marge, you're on.
What kind of expenses do you have in operating this site, Dee?
Oh, very good question. I have no expenses in operating the site other than my own personal manpower hours. And that just comes with my ministry through my parish. The Weebly website is free. Weebly, I'm telling you, don't just sit there, but run to your nearest faith formation office. They can help you devise, develop, and implement your own Weebly site for your parish. It costs nothing, and it costs nothing to maintain it.
Thank you, Dee. That was an excellent plug for our resource centers. All of the resource centers have trained, everybody has been trained in using the Weebly. We've been using it for the RC Faith Quest and many other websites. And it really is extremely easy for the novice who's just starting to use digital technology. It's very easy to do. It's not overwhelming. So thank you for asking about that. This has been a great webinar. We have been recording this, and it will be at the faithformationevents.weebly.com website. Under webinars, where you registered, you will find the video will be rendered and uploaded to the website in a day or two. Also, the links to all of Dee's website, as well as some of the pages that she shared with us, and the copy of the webinar survey form will all be there together. So you can go there in a couple days, and all the resources will be there.
Could I just jump in ever so briefly, Andrea? Within the package, you will also find a paper, an article that was compiled by Janet Schaffler, and it lists web questions to test their authenticity, to make sure that they're appropriate. It really helps to follow this before you go and start posting things on the web.
And I just posted that as well into the chat section if you wanted to check that out right now. But as I said, it will be on the website with the video and all the other resources. So are there any other questions? Okay. Well, as we said, the next webinar will be in April. Let me just pull that out so I can make sure I have the right date here. Where am I here?
While she's looking,
okay,
thank you everyone for your patience.
Connie Armstrong will be, I think I'm getting a little feedback here. I'm going to mute Dee here. Connie Armstrong will be doing Milestone Ministry. This webinar will focus on the many creative ways parishes and families can ritualize life's milestones, bringing faith and life's experience together. Celebrate those special family and parish moments with blessings, prayers, and simple rituals to make the moment special and sacramental with a small s. So register for that. It is April 22nd from 3 to 4. And if there's no other questions, we will be signing off here. I want to thank all of our participants for being here and supporting us as we do this, and the patience that you've had with us as we are still all learning this new technology. So thank you, and we are going to sign off. Goodbye, everyone.